Hello and welcome to Sudoku. This is the higher pointer in the round 4 of Sudoku Grand Prix 2021. This puzzle is called Remote Clone Sudoku and it was set by Stéphane Bura, who invented the variant. And the special rule about it is that whenever you have this corner symbol, it means that these cells sees clones at a distance that is the number in this cell. Let's imagine that this is a 4. Then we look at a distance 4 in both directions shown by this symbol. So it gives this cell and this cell. And the rule says that those two digits must be clones, meaning that they must be identical. And that's all there is to it, apart from the classic Sudoku rules. And there is no negative rule, meaning that the lack of a symbol does not mean that no symbol could go there. So this is a puzzle that Stéphane created specifically for this round after inventing the variant. And you see he placed those beautiful squares in the grid. And it's a somewhat difficult puzzle, but it's, in my opinion, much less difficult than the one that was in the instruction booklet. So let's start. How do we solve such a puzzle? Well, I think the first constraint that is really important is to see what are the maximum distances in both directions pointed by the corner symbol, and necessarily the number here must be at most both distances. I mean, here we get a distance 6 max, distance 7, so this number can be 6 or less, but it can't be more than 6. And here it can't be more than 2, so this is a 1/2. 1 looks possible, this could be the same as that, and this is at most 3. And this one is at most 4. But before placing this, just note that this is at most 3 as well. So we get a 1, 2, 3 pair, and this one being at most 4 can't be 1, 2, or 3, so it has to be 4. And it means that this cell and this cell must contain the same digit. Now, what cells are... Well, this cell is constrained. It's at most 3. This one is at most 6. This one is at most 3. Yes, I know 3 with a French accent is very weird. Now, those two cells are at most 6, and they can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, so they must be 5 and 6 in some order. And you see that those digits then have to be 7, 8, and 9. Let's have a look at this block. Those must be at most 3 again, for the same reason. The distance here and there is at most 3. For those cells, this sees at most 5. So I just note at most 5 this way. Here it's at most 4, and here as well, but it's not a 4, so it's 1, 2, or 3. This one, it's at most 4, so same, it's 1, 2, or 3. So we get another 1, 2, 3 triple. And this one is at most 4, and it's not 1, 2, 3, so it has to be a 4. And this one is exactly 5. But let's ponder something. Could this be a 1? if this were a 1, then this 4 would be repeated here, and it wouldn't work. The same here. 5 couldn't be repeated here, so we get a 2-3 pair, and this is a 1. This is not a 1, this is not a 1. And this one says that this cell at distance 1 has its clone here. So this is also 2 or 3. And we get a 2-3 pair in this column. Now let's look at this. The maximum distance here is 5. But this is different from 1, 2, 3 and from 4, so it has to be 5. And this cell is cloned into this cell. So we get a 1 here, and this 5 is fulfilled. What is the next deduction? Oh, this is a distance 3 from this cell, but if this were a 3, then 1 would go into this cell. So this one is a 2 actually, that's a 1, that's a 3, and that's a 3 because those are clones. And 1 and 2 make this a 3. Now this 2 clones this into this, and this can't be a 5, so it has to be a 6. And this 2 is now fulfilled, and we get a 6 here to fulfill this one clue. Then this one is fulfilled as well. And could this be a 2? If this were a 2, then 4 would be there and it would clash. So this one is a 3, this one is a 2. And we get a 7, 8, 9 triple in those cells. What next? This 6 clones this into that. So this cell is 7, 8, 9. But 9 would never go into a symbol, a cell with a symbol, because no digit is at distance 9. And 8 could go into a corner cell, but then it would need to be in a corner of a grid, because here the maximum distance is 7. So this is actually 7, and this 7 is cloned into this cell. So this 6 is now fulfilled, and this 5 now clones the 3 into this cell. So this 5 is fulfilled. And this 4 clones this 5 into this cell. 4 is fulfilled. This 3 clones this into this cell, so it can't be a 7. And what did I not use? Oh. Let's see. This 3, I just used it. This 2 clones this into this cell. And something interesting here is that those 2 digits are different. Those 2 digits are different. Let's just use some coloring. No, those 2 digits are the same. Those 2 digits are the same. And you see that this digit is 8 or 9 and is different from both those digits. So this one is the same as this one. Therefore, this one can't be a 7. And the green one must be a 7. I think that's one of the most beautiful parts of the logic in this puzzle. This can only be 6 or 8. What else do we get? So 3 here, this 2 is fulfilled. This 5 puts this into that. And this is not 3, it's not 2, so it has to be a 1. And this 5 is fulfilled. So this is not a 1, although you see that 1 would have worked. Now, it's not a 2 either. So it's a 3, and it clones the 2 into this cell. Let's have a look at this 3. This 3 tells us that this cell and this cell are the same. So for very few candidates left, I think. Only 7 and 8, because it can't be a 3, it can't be a 1, it can't be a 2, it can't be a 4, it can't be a 5 or a 6, it can't be a 9, so this is 7 or 8. This is also 7 or 8, and it's the same. And now, in this column, 4 doesn't go here, it has to go there. This is 7, 8, or 9. In this column, 1 is not here, so it has to go here. Do we have something with this 3? Oh yes, 3 clones this into that, and it can't be a 9, so it has to be an 8. Now this 3 will be fulfilled. This is an 8, that's a 7, that's a 9. The red digit is a 9, this is an 8. And is that it? Oh, this is a clone, so this has to be a 7, and this 3 is fulfilled. This 3 here clones this 9 into this cell. And this 3 is fulfilled. Mm, 6 and 6, that is a 6 by Sudoku. The remaining digits in this column must be 2 and 4. And I still haven't used this 1. What are the options? So here it can't be 8 or 7, and here it can't be those, so only 2 and 6 remain, and 6 is not available. So that's a naked single, that's a 2. This digit is not here, it has to be there, and it's not an 8, so it's a 6. 9 is not here, it must go in this cell. This is an 8, and the remaining digits here are 3 and 5, and because of this 3 we get a 5 here and a 3 there. What could go here? The missing digits here are 1, 2, 4, and 5. 1 and 5 are forbidden, so it must be a 2 or a 4. Two would seem to work. It would put a 5 here. That makes sense. 4 would put this one here. This one would put a 6 here. That works. So I don't think we can disambiguate at this point. But let's have a look at this row. It needs a 9. It's not here. It's there. And the missing digit is a 4. And you see that this corner has very few options. Only 5 and 6 are available for this cell. But 5 would clone this 9 somewhere down there and it would clash. So that's a 6. And it clones this digit into this cell. Let's look at the possibilities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 7. Only 5. 5 is not available. It has to be an 8. Three, 4, 5 here. So this is a 4. This is a 3. This is a 5. And this 4 makes this a 2. This a 4. Here we need 2, 5, and 8. Not much about it. This 8 makes this 2 or 5. On this row, we still need 7 and 3. So 7 here, 3 there. We get an 8 here. So now the 7 is not here, so 7 is there. And this digit is a 4. This 4 puts the 8 in this position. We get 2 or 5 here. 4 or 5 here. 2, 5, and 1. Oh, 2, 5, and 1. That sounds like music theory. And I like it. Now, what about this? 2 would put a 5 here, that's okay. 4 would put the 1 here and a 2 here, that's okay as well. Let's have a look at what this column, or this column. We still need 2, 7, and 5. 7, 7, 7, 2, and 5. So we now have 2, 2, 5 pairs. These ones must be 1 and 9. It's not resolved yet. These ones must be 6 and 8. There's an 8 here. And you see that 1 would work here. Actually, we still need to place 1, 2, 4, and 9 in this row. So 9 must go here. Can't be with a corner. This one is not a 2, it has to be 1 or 4. But 4 wouldn't work, it would put an 8 here. So this is a 1. And we get this 2, this 4. This one is fulfilled. Still need to make sure it happens. This 4 is fulfilled. Let's tidy up all of this. That's a 1, that's a 5. And we still need 4 and 6, I think, yes. That's a 4 here, that's a 6 there. And this finishes the solve of this very unusual puzzle in this Grand Prix. And I think it was not that difficult, but there was this tricky part with the coloring. I think that was the trickiest part in the puzzle. And of course, getting used to it. And I've test solved this one quite a couple of times, so I may be biased on the difficulty. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks, Stéphane, for the amazing puzzle. And see you soon on Sudoku.